It's the one and only. It's the big homie. It's Hustle Crow. It's Flex Luthor. It's Malcolm Flex. Fax Kellerman. The idol of James Bond. Marquett Devon Burton. The saint and the sinner. Today, ladies and saints, we are talking about someone I've never heard of, but the young boy said, you got to look into this. And so we shall. As we go through, those of you who follow our culture, which is show love to those who show love to you. If you have any comments, questions, tithes, tuition, you can use the information below to share that information or share that support, excuse me. And I appreciate those of you who are watching on Twitch. It really does mean a lot, as we know that the Google Corporation censors. They don't like the truth. And of course, thank you to those who are members at peacetothesaints.com. With no further ado, I bring this to you. We're going to start from the beginning. I'm going to be using a clip that is from a gentleman named Hello Yassine. This is from one of his other channels called Hello Yassine Extras. I did link the channel and the video in the description. He makes good content. I want to acknowledge him right now, so feel free to check this out at your convenience. But anyways, we'll go ahead and review this right now. So this is the early piece of reporting on this fellow. This one is from 7 months ago, and perhaps it'll get us familiar with him because never heard of Lil Buddy.
What's poppin', y'all? We covered this when it first happened, and that is the body that was found in David's Tesla impounded into a lot in LA while he was on tour. This was really weird, and it was a Tesla too, and I had so many questions about it. None of it made sense to me. I didn't jump to the conclusion that he had caught a body or was going to catch a body, but I said, like, how is your Tesla not reported stolen? You know where the location of your Tesla is all the time. Like, you have the application for it. So that was all weird, but today we've got a lot more news to cover. And the first thing that came out, it was by TMZ, and they reported that the singer David has a tattoo that matches the one found on the body of a 15 girl.
Say what? 15? That doesn't sound legal. Now, I don't know how old this David fellow is, but he looks like a proper adult.
Discovered in his Tesla. So he has the tattoo on his index finger on the inside of his
very zesty, very zesty
index finger, which is one that Rihanna popularized, that trend where
again, very zesty. A grown man is taking tattoo tips from Rihanna. Oh, how times have changed. You know, in my neighborhood, the big homie had CK on his neck. You know, he had other people's hoods whacked out on his neck. But, you know, I guess things are a little different. They're like, oh, Rihanna, okay, I'm going to get that tattoo. At my era, you'd be like, oh, my local neighborhood hero has a PDL tattooed on his neck. Maybe I should get that. Maybe that's a good one.
She puts the index finger over her mouth and it has a sh on it. And so we find out that it's a girl. We didn't even know if it was a girl or a boy or the age of the individual. And in the TMZ article, they say the following. The body has now been identified as 15-year-old Celeste Rivas. Authorities said she had a tattoo on her right index finger with the letters sh. David's tattoo is also on his right index finger. And then they show a missing persons report and it says Celeste Rivas.
All right, let's see what we got here, ladies and saints, because I know you guys are like, what kind of 15-year-old is this? Let me go ahead and enlarge it. Young lady named Celeste Rivas Hernandez. Right, let's take a look here. So she is last seen April 5th, 2024. That's quite some time ago. Oh, and at that time she was 13. Good Lord. Oh, this is getting diabolical very quickly. Last seen in Lake Elsinore, California. That's not really anywhere you'd want to be honest with you. She's born in 2010. That sounds bad. Like, that does not sound good at all. Age 13. I don't even like saying that out loud. 5'3", 120. Brown hair, brown eyes. Last seen wearing gray sweatpants and a black sweater, a hat, and a Hello Kitty sandals. That does not help with this situation. Goodness. Yeah, that's rough. That's rough. Boy. And I don't know if it's just psychologically getting to me, but it's like her face to me looks sad in the picture. I don't know. Truly disturbing times that we're living in. And this is what happens when the weak males, perverts often, and the matriarchy takes over. You're not safe. This is terrible, honestly.
Hernandez, and they show photos of her. Last seen April 5th, 2024. Last seen in Lake El September. It really rattles me. It still rattles me. Almost a year and a half from this official report. But we would come to find out later that she was officially missing, but she was in contact with some people until about a month ago. Height 5'3".
Now, what I'm curious is, like, did he kidnap Shorty, or was she was in her I'm running away bag? Or did he like, come here? Like, was it one of those? Or was she like, I want to stay with you forever and ever. Let's run away. Our life is going to be like Disneyland.
He weight 120 pounds. And then it says last seen wearing gray.
And it's sad because she looks like a good little person, like a good young person. Doesn't have big hoop earrings, doesn't have tattoos that are visible. Doesn't have fake eyelashes. It looks like she could have been something in life.
Pants and a black sweater, a hat, and house. People did say that from rumors that we're hearing is that she was always in and out. There was instability in the home. And then TMZ says that they spoke with Celeste's mom last week, and she told us about her daughter's tattoo, adding it was in red ink. The mom said Celeste had been missing for more than a year, but she was suspicious of the Tesla discovery because she said Celeste's boyfriend's name was David.
Now, the real question was, how old was Buddy at the time of dealing with this 13-year-old female? Number one, if he was an actual adult, when did he meet her? So that's number one. When did he meet her? At what age was he when this occurred? And then number two, how do you meet 13-year-olds? I'm not trying to find out, right? Because this is a crazy world. I'm not trying to find out, but I'm just curious, like, where do you run into a 13-year-old at? Like, that doesn't even seem like something that's convenient. Like, you need to go out of your way. I don't even know what 13-year-olds do nowadays.
David, singer. And then, we didn't get much information after. Okay, well, maybe this body was decomposing for a month and it was left on a Hollywood street and it wasn't reported stolen. And David's team, they've quieted down, which they should. Then it would come out later that police were hunting for video.
This is Esty Rascal right here. Now, I could listen. She must not have had a father. Because if I was her Latino father, now I don't know what ethnicity Shorty is. I have no idea what ethnicity she is, but they're from Killicali. And if I was her Latino father, I'd be like, just in general, no negros. And that's probably not even what I would call them. I would use another word that starts with an M that I can't say right now because it's a slur. Okay. But like, no negros. Then you bring one home. I'm like, okay. I'm like, hell nah. Like, of all of the ones you bring, not this nigga right here. No. I'd have been very displeased as a Latino father. I'd have been like, if like of all the niggas, you didn't reach to the bottom of the barrel searching for the zesty ones, and this is what you didn't pull out. Oh, ain't no way. Oh yeah, no, I'd have been big mad. I'd have been like, is this guy wearing makeup? Well, like, why he look like that? I don't know. Like, what is going on? Yeah, nah, this would have triple, quadruple, doubled my racism. Yes, sir. Yeah, no, I'd have been a lot more racist after she brought little buddy home. Ain't no way. Is bro wearing green contact lenses? Please stop it. Police are hunting for videos that could identify the driver of David's Tesla in the area where his car was abandoned. Yeah, not for sure. Nah, yeah, I would have been a lot more racist after I saw little buddy.
That could identify the driver of David's Tesla in the area where his car was abandoned. And it shows it right here. So this is the street or the neighborhood where the car was found. And this does seem like where events happen, where things happen.
That's a nice neighborhood. I don't know what part of town that was in, but that's a good looking neighborhood right there.
And you are likely to get towed here if you're parking at the wrong time. So
I mean, look at how high the shrubs were. That lets you know people value privacy there. It's blocking the actual visibility of the homes. So yeah, that was clearly an upscale, expensive area. Let me acknowledge some of the folks who actually support the work. And thank you to those who are watching on twitch.tv/Marquett Devon. May I acknowledge Nick comes in via Venmo. He writes, peace to the Saints. Thank you for the pure game and the truth over the years. Excited for the big game conference. The ism truly saves lives. Sasson or nothing. I'm excited for it too. The Saints from Atlanta came down today. We had a great training session. I'll be ready. I hope everybody got their hands ready. I hope you've reviewed the footage from last year because we really got to go in. For those of you who want to come to the big game conference, peacetothesaints.com. You can get your tickets there. I'll see you at Burton Plantation. Carrying on.
David's Tesla was abandoned on a street in the Hollywood Hills before it was towed and impounded with a dead body inside. And cops are scouring the area where the car was parked and looking for video that would identify the driver and maybe crack the case. They're going to find video here. There's ring cameras everywhere on this house. Actually, I think I noticed. No way. This isn't Hollywood Hills. Right? No, never mind. I thought I noticed that place. Multiple people who live on the block where the singer's Tesla was abandoned tell TMZ LAPD swept the area and are talking with every neighbor they can track down to see if there's ring camera or surveillance video showing his car. We're told cops are not only asking residents for showing the main street where the car was towed from, they're also searching for...
This is one of those things where I don't actually believe that the law enforcement, especially the Federal Bureau of Investigation and similarly positioned orgs in the United States, I truly don't believe that they're not able to take data from your ring camera, stored video or live stream, access the live stream. So I think that's all just like, they're just playing like they can't, but for sure they can. Seems fairly basic stuff. So I don't think they actually need to ask for access to anyone's doorbell cameras. And frankly, maybe they're investigating this lost child because the guy who did it has a noteworthy name. So it's in the news, so they have to. I don't know if they generally care about random Latina children who run away. I don't know. I'm guessing not under a Trump administration.
Video showing nearby alleyways, suggesting cops believe that Tesla may have been driven through an alley before being abandoned to avoid detection. We know cops got video of the alleyway from at least one neighbor, but the Tesla was not in the footage. We're told the neighbor who called to have the car towed earlier this month has since talked to police and turned over footage, but we don't know if the video revealed the driver's identity. And they were saying that a bunch of these houses are...
I think one thing we know for damn sure is that getting away with a crime in 2026 when the police, law enforcement is actually trying, I think that's nearly impossible. And they're putting more technology in your cars against your will and against your freedom that will make it nearly impossible to do anything. Shout out to Mr. Chapman, writes, peace to the saints. This dude is going to get everything he deserves, but this should serve as a life lesson. Don't try to extort someone while being in the weaker position. She threatened to expose David, which to him is life or death. Expose what? Is he a Skittle guzzler? Because I feel like I could tell that just looking at Brody. So what else could she expose? I mean, if you're a rapper and you're a dope addict, I know that's not new or unique. So what was Buddy doing? Now, was she trying to expose him? Because she's 13. I mean, women are manipulative. Females, and not a woman. Females are manipulative, but damn, at 13, you extorting niggas? That sounds pretty advanced, unless her family was involved in it, which could wholly be possible.
Are short-term rentals, so it's hard for them to get into contact with the actual owners of the place. And it was called, so the cops were called after the odor got too out of hand. Now, what they say in the report is that it's a chopped up and decomposing body inside. But other people are saying that the body fell apart because it was severely decomposed. So the LA County Medical Examiner...
It's disgusting and also not very clever. I don't know who thought it was. Just leave it in the trunk. Like, what? Who thought that was a good idea? That is completely brainless, especially to leave it in your own trunk. So either this kid is completely foolish, and that's possible. You saw how he looked, or he's being framed. I don't know. Who knows? Generally, I tend to think that people who are in high stress situations, like catching a body, for example, and they've not done it before, their thinking is not going to be very clear as they carry this out. So, there you go. There you go. Shout out to Kane, comes in by Venmo. He writes, Spirit Airlines no longer exists. I never rode them. You are very fortunate. It's a terrible experience. I can assure you of that. I never rode them. Is this a good opportunity to invest in Frontier? Referring to Frontier Airlines, their budget airline competitor. it could be the best time or it could be the worst time. It could be the best time because Frontier does not have competition at the low tier, or it could be the worst time because Frontier has a similar business model and that business model has been proven to fail. So you'd have to do some research on that. And I would as well to give you a meaningful answer. But what I can tell you, and it should be a question on all of your minds, which is, well, why did Spirit Airlines go out of business? This is actually not the first time that they've had financial difficulties. They have filed for bankruptcy in the past. And in addition to that, right now, the price of jet fuel has doubled. So they were already in a woeful situation seeking a bailout from the government. And the American government steals your tax dollars. They give it to private companies to help those companies, whether they're banks or weapons companies or airlines. And then those companies are able to recover in some cases and drive profit. And then the companies keep the profit and don't pay back the taxpayers. It's quite a dirty system. Really the kind of thing that make you want to wage a revolution. But I say all that to say this. The Spirit Airlines had already been struggling up to this point, and they were trying to restructure things and also get some bailout money in whatever form it might come. But with jet prices doubling, you had the straw that broke the camel's back. And who introduced that straw? That would be directly a result of Donald Trump and his policies with the Iran war that have closed the Strait of Hormuz, caused oil prices to shoot up, caused supplies of fertilizer to dry up, which will eventually cause some level of starvation in several places that are proximate to that area. Certainly Africa will be one of them. I don't think they're worried about the blacks. But in terms of Spirit Airlines, when they came into the aerospace industry, is that right? Aerospace? Aviation. When they came into the aviation industry, they introduced a revolutionary model, which allowed poor people to travel. People don't like to be called poor, low income. What do you get what I mean? Ghetto girls going to Miami and going to Vegas. They can go now, but they nickel and dime you for everything. They have atrocious customer service. It's really not an experience you would like to have unless you got to have it. But they can get you from point A to point B at a cost that is accessible for lower income Americans, which increasingly are a greater percentage of our country because the middle class is shrinking. And so Donald Trump has now reduced the opportunity of air travel for low income people, not only because Spirit Airlines has now gone out of business directly as a result of Donald Trump pushing them off of the cliff, but in addition, because jet fuel prices doubling is also going to impact flight prices across the board. Delta Airlines, American Airlines, and all of the other carriers that may not be just for the poor. So now this stresses the middle class, and of course, is going to have ramifications on business because business travel is a major percentage of air travel. And this is all from the atrocious economic policies of Donald Trump, the carelessness, the warmongering. All of these things have shown to have consequences, and we will be suffering very soon. Yes, there you go. But I can tell you this, and I want you guys to really mark my words, and we'll get back to our core topic. Earlier today, young lady saw that Spirit Airlines seemed to kind of shut down without much warning to the employees. Well, they did have it warning because, this is not the first time they've had financial difficulties. So they should have seen the writing on the wall. But, thousands of persons have lost their jobs. And young lady was like, oh, that's messed up. Yeah, it is messed up. A lot of messed up things are happening in the war, in the world, Yemen, Gaza, Sudan. But what we have to focus on is, as soon as I saw this, I'm not gonna lie to you, I went straight to my stock portfolio. I was like, well, what is the stock ticker for Spirit Airlines? Do I own any of that? Ooh, goddamn, good Lord. Ooh, he almost got me because Trump has taken an extraordinary amount of money out of my pocket. I was like, did the nigga get me again? If he did, it's on site when I see him. But the fact of the matter is, I fortunately don't have any Spirit Airlines stock. So he didn't hurt me. He didn't hurt my family. I hope he didn't hurt yours. And being that there are enough things going wrong in this world, don't you ever unnecessarily take an opportunity to complain or act like a suffering is your own when it's not. I teach this ism so that you could live a happier, more prosperous life. Is that unfortunate for the folks who lost their jobs? Absolutely. Is that unfortunate for the folks who are holding stock in Spirit Airlines, which is now worth nothing? Yes, that is unfortunate, but that did not hurt us. That did not hurt anyone in our family. That did not hurt anyone within the Assassin. And so we have to be thankful that that misfortune didn't touch us. And it doesn't make sense for us to find a reason to be angry in a world with enough problems. We need to find reasons to be happy, reasons to be well adjusted. And so I take that as a victory. Something went wrong and it had nothing to do with me. Oh, hooray, hooray. And so I want all of you men, and especially as leaders of your families, to teach your children and your ladies, you need to stay positive. You have an easy life. You have a simple life. You should take that not as a moment to be angry or like, oh, look at what that happened to those people, but to be thankful that it wasn't you, because it could have been you. I don't work for Spirit Airlines and you don't fly Spirit Airlines. So that had nothing to do with us. We need to take out, and look for those good, happy opportunities, ladies and saints. And so please do take that to heart. Thank you for bringing that up, because I actually did want to have a discussion about that, because when our president makes bad policy, sometimes we only, for those who are not informed or don't have the time to be informed, or just, don't care, sometimes we only care about the fact that our government is hurting people in the Middle East because our gasoline is more expensive for our vehicles. Sometimes that's the only reason we care, which is quite sad. And it speaks very poorly of us as human beings and Americans. But now you can see that his bad decisions are adding up to things that are impacting everyday people. And I hope that they know that you're going to have to do something. It's not smart to wait it out, to wait out for him to finish his term. The speed at which Donald Trump does things allows him to cause the whole world to burn much more quickly than any other bad president can. So please do know that these are revolutionary times, and it is time to act, not to watch. Don't watch the world burn. Do something. Thank you for that. And I thank those of you who do support Carrying On.
Said the body was severely decomposed and appeared to have been in the car for an extended period of time before being found. But I don't know what an extended period of time is, because even in less than a week, a body really starts to stink. So for it to get to this point, how long was it there? And how long was it in the trunk? And you got to think, for a tow lot, the smell has to be pungent, because people aren't like, it's not like down the block, or it's not like a residential area where people are constantly, people working there at least. Then a lot more information started to surface on social media. One post was saying that she left her house wearing Hello Kitty. And
look at this ball right here. And this is the kind of sick world that we're in, wherein the females are conditioned to like dudes that are like females. It's truly sick in this Western society. Look at this bull wearing a little girl's sweatshirt. And of course, we have to know that he is immature to do something like this. He's immature and effeminate. And so not surprising that an immature male looks for a female that is deeply immature due to age.
David had an obsession with Hello Kitty, and with Hello Kitty t-shirts, Hello Kitty mugs, very an odd.
And looking at this little fella down here, you can see that he's wearing eyeliner and contact lenses. And this is something that I predict. I prophesy that you will see more androgyny. You will see the male appearing as the female does, and the female appearing as the male does. There's so many things that we used to look down upon. We used to look down upon females who had tattoos because we considered that masculine. Now they cover themselves in tattoos. We used to look down upon females who smoke cigarettes because we considered that masculine, and cigarettes stink. Now we see females smoking bing bings like it's all good. They emulate the male. And then in turn, we see the male emulating the female. You'll even hear these dudes talking like females. What's the tea? What are you talking about, bro? You'll hear the chicks talking like the dudes, calling you bro. What? Bill, who are you talking to? Hear grown men talking about, it's the such and such for me. What do you mean for me? Like, no, bro, like knock it off. Like, why are you talking like an actual female?
The coincidence, if you want to call it that. But then an alleged photo of him and this girl had surfaced, and it's says Celeste and David don't let me sleep, and it says 3:51 a.m. and it's David and what looks to be that girl Celeste Rivas Hernandez in a FaceTime call with somebody else. And this is one of the craziest, most disturbing things about this guy there are a bunch of people that knew that this was going on, and this guy he was trying to hide it, but he was showing a lot more than I don't even really get it, because I'll give you guys another clip as an example. There was a Discord message that was leaked because this guy had a Discord server, and somebody asked him on December 13th, 2023. So this chick would have been what, 11 at that time, or 12?
Yo, come on, man. Come on, man. Come on, man. Come on, man. Did you say 11? Boy, did you say 11? Like 1-1? The number after 10. Ain't no way. Ain't no, nigga, that's young. I don't know if bro was like super short or something. Maybe it looked normal when they was walking around. 11. Oh man. No, I can't. You can't. Nobody justify that right there. No, sir. Those are children. No, that's not fresh water, nigga. That's I don't know what that is. No, that's not fresh water. I taught 6th grade. I taught 11-year-olds, and they are in fact children. They look like children. They're shaped like children. You'll never get confused. You may on planet Earth walk around and see a 14-year-old, just 1 out of 1,000 that looks like she's built like an adult. You're never going to see an 11-year-old built like an adult. It just doesn't happen. No, those are legitimate kids.
And this guy Lamp says, "Hey, who's the girl?" And then this dude David says, "You are a Fed." It's like, what? And that girl looks like it could be her, but girl. But the scariest part about this is that when this first came out, a lot of people were trying to defend it, saying that he was on tour and he kept up appearances. Like the guy was just doing his shows, tossing out labubus, saying that he was cooperating with law enforcement. I don't know, scared a story that would come to show us that this guy knew what was going on. And he said the following: "This guy's a weirdo. A close friend's little sister from the IE Inland Empire ran away last year, and this is who she was with. We think her..."
No, this is not cool. It's not cool, man.
Sister was peeing her out. Yeah, peeing her out. She was in 7th grade.
No. Wait, let me reread that. He didn't say what I think he just said. She was in the 7th grade. We think his sister was, oh no, that's sad. That's sad and sick and evil. You know, if he would have been trying to like fall in love with the chick, that would be not quite right. Illegal, you might call it. But, you know, trying to put her on that blade to get paid, that's not cool, man. That's not cool, my boy. That's when we need to bring out that electric chair. You heard me? Yes, indeed. Bring the electric chair out. We need it. Shout out to Dad supporting the work via Venmo. May I also acknowledge Omari writes, "For your time. Appreciate you." Shout out to Mr. Naeem writes, "Peace of the Saints. Looking forward to the Black Code. The farther we can get from these nutty niggas like this, the better. Marquettism is for the kids. Marquettism saves lives. You ain't never lied." May I also acknowledge Dominic came in supporting the work. He writes, "One thing I'm thankful for is being able to get this work in with the SAS and Peace of the Saints." That's from earlier today. Shout out to SAS in Atlanta. Came down to Burn Plantation, got some good work in. My family cooked them a home cooked meal. It was a great time. Shout out to Miles, writes, "Peace of the Saints, Mr. Burton. I need that Stay on Code FBA song ASAP. We are truly all we have because I've been noticing an increase in microaggressions from Latinos toward me in the workplace as a blue collar worker. Since they highly populate these jobs, sad but real, the code is needed." I also acknowledge Alejandro writes, "Peace of the Saints. Thank you for the game. You're welcome, sir. I appreciate your support." I also acknowledge Jonathan came in supporting the work via PayPal. Shout out to Ricardo writes, "Peace of the Saints. Tuition." I also acknowledge Alexander. He writes, "Thanks for the videos. I plan to support more regularly." I appreciate that. That means a lot. Thank you very much. Carrying on, let's get back to this wizard.
At the time, LAPD sweeped his place in the hills. So they're already saying that LAPD looked through this guy's crib and she wasn't there. I'm terrified that's who's in the car. Nobody has heard from her in months.
Terrible.
I won't release names as she's still a minor, but she was from Lake Elsinore. And this person says, whoa, hope that's not the case. And then you've got someone trying to defend the situation, which is understandable at that time. But this person says, it isn't speculation. It literally happened. I don't really care if you've heard nice things about him. That has no impact on my personal negative experience. And we would come to find out that, yeah, that was a chick from Lake from Lake Elsinore that was in 7th grade at the time, because she would be in 9th.
That's sad. Yeah, and it just saddens me to, if this was just one of these harlots, one of these tarts, these 25-year-old plus tarts, I'd be like, hey, it is what it is. Hey, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. You end up in the back of a trunk, daddy, get like that. But this is a child, man. This is a little girl. And, she was young enough that she really probably still could have been anything if she had a proper culture and tribe and father. And she lacked all three, apparently. And, this is a sad thing to see, precisely why dirtbags should not be permitted to have children, and the good peoples of the earth need to reproduce in greater numbers. This is truly a tragedy. It really is.
Grade right now, and she is passed away in that trunk. So this guy, now we don't know officially if David's the one that ended it, but we do know that as of now, we have a lot of overwhelming information that this guy was seeing and spending a lot of time with this girl. And then there are Discord messages where
bro is beating the brakes off of that 11-year-old. You hear me? Bro was going in. He was going in. Man, nigga said fresh water. Nigga, I don't even know what this is like before the molecules have come together as H2O. This nigga just got the H2. Like the molecules didn't even have time to come together. Man, bro was like, I need it fresh. I need it from the bro is a madman. Shout out to Mr. Brown. He writes, peace of the saints. Thank you for breaking down the Spirit Airlines situation. Here to make my name known. I appreciate you, Mr. Brown. Thank you very much. Carrying on.
David in 2022 says Celeste in here, question mark. And then she says, hi, David Bark. So you've got that as one of the replies, which is freaky. And then more conspiracy theory type things come out where it says David's hit song Romantic Homicide was released on September 7th, which was the birthday of Celeste Rivas Hernandez. This was in 2022. We do have messages.
Creepy little rascal.
Going back to 2023 of them, but I don't know if it's this crazy where the person's dropping it, because in fact, no, it is. She made it on her. Oh my God. There's also a song that leaked on that he made in December of 2023 called Celeste, where he's like,
no, I'm done, bro. I'm done. He's guilty. Nigga, that's like OJ making a song called Blonde White Woman That I Have 3 Kids By. What? That is guilty. That's like Donald Trump making a song called Turning Up at Epstein Island. This is an admission of guilt.
Oh, Celeste, the girl with my name tattooed on her chest. Now, this is the thing. We don't know yet if she has his name tattooed on her chest. But he says Celeste in this song multiple times. That's a song that leaked just yesterday. And there have been other people that have been talking about how they knew that this was going on, or they knew that there was a Celeste. People are trying to tie streamers into it, which I think is unfair. There was Jason the Ween who had met somebody, because Jason the Ween did a song with this guy and he was cordial with him. He was cool with him. I wouldn't say they're friends, because I can't judge streamer celebrity friendships. These guys are odd, but this is the thing. This guy was posting to his close friends. This dude, David, there's a post right here. This guy says, David posted pictures of him and Celeste to close friends, so the information they were dating wasn't made public. Dog, how are you posting to close friends? And he's got Fortnite Battle Royale music. An important detail I have to add here is David is currently 20. I don't know why, but I thought he was older. I feel like you guys would probably.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I thought he was older as well. If this was 2024, that'd be about 2 to 3 years ago. And so he would have been 17 at the time, which still is not. I it's less than ideal. Let's say that.
Probably think that he was older as well. I just thought he was 24 or 25 or something like that. Now, that doesn't change anything that's been going on here at all. But perhaps that's why he's moving in the way that he is after the girl has been found, or the body had been found, because you would think somebody would just dip out of there. Like, how are you continuing to act like everything's normal?
It's
and
not
then there's
normal.
also Instagram stories of Celeste that he was resharing in 2023, and she has at David with kissing lipstick emojis, and that's him, and the account was
Nah, it's wild. Like, bro is moving like it's not. He's moving like he's not doing illegal things. Like, bro is the new Donald Trump. This is the black Bibi Netanyahu. My boy is acting like everything he's doing is completely legal and reasonable. Good Lord. This man is sick out here.
Blunt Lover 444, and he says, didn't use my music, SMH, and he reposts that story. The person that made the initial statement on the Reddit before the body was even confirmed to be a man, woman, girl, boy, said, sorry for the late response. I'm sure the police have been involved, but I don't know the full detail of C's life. It seemed to me that she has had a broken home life, family life, because the way my sister put it, she would never be home and always be out. Seems like
she's a lit little kid. And this does happen. I mean, you guys watched Jerry Springer and Maury Povich and Ricky Lake back in the Dizzy. Yes, it happens, ladies and saints.
The parent relationship wasn't there, and I'm not sure if he's still paying or not. I can ask my sister and get back to you. Edit. I asked my sister and she said she isn't sure, but I saw a news article of the picture of the girl, and my sister confirmed that it is indeed C. See this news article here. Her name was Celeste, but I used the term C just in case it wasn't her, but this confirms it. And this is great. And then they also show, this was the pic bro showed me, and this was a picture of David meeting up around the corner, paying other people that are her age to keep their mouth shut about the situation. And TMZ would report that this was in Lake Elsinore, right around from where she lived. This gets even more disturbing because fans went and had a conversation with Celeste's brother, and I'm going to read you guys the conversation right now. He says, dude, why does Celeste follow you? All respect to your sister, and I hate how trash people are being. Was it really him? Jesus, all love, man. Yeah, it was him, because he found my account out of nowhere and followed me. Damn, well, he has it coming. That's wild. Just randomly, did you even ever talk to him?
You know, the interesting thing is, with this conversation being recounted, it does not seem to suggest that the brother is like truly emotional about the loss of his sister. Like, bro might be a part of the problem. It seems like they come from a deeply broken family. Truly disturbing stuff. Shout out to Mr. Lopez, writes, thanks for doing this, Marquett. Thank you for being a creator who isn't ruled by fame and money, but leverages it for the betterment of society. Peace to the saints, and thank you for the movement. I appreciate you. And shout out to all of our leaders. Shout out to Dan here, who's a big leader in Florida. Shout out to all the people who have been foundational in this thing of ours. I just had the pleasure of speaking with one of the saints who's a leader in SAS in Asia. And so this is a global movement. If you guys haven't joined, peacetothesaints.com. We welcome you warmly to this thing of ours. Carrying on.
He said, I met him once in person. So this guy knew that this situation was going on.
That's
said,
crazy.
Did you and your family know of your sister being with them? Like, she was living with them? All of this stuff is so confusing and disgusting. I knew and went to the police about it. But lack of evidence,
sure
so
you did, buddy.
I don't believe this is a thing. And he says, BS. Now that there's 1,000 people backing you up.
Oh, bro said BS.
That won't happen again. But if they had listened, it won't happen again because.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if you go to the police and say, hey, there's a grown black guy who wears makeup who has kidnapped my sister. She's 11. I don't think the police are going to be like, well, I need you to wait and give me some evidence of wrongdoing. There ain't no wrongdoing been doing. So we can't do nothing till the wrongdoing's been done and done again and done doggy style. I mean, we gonna have to wait and see some photographic video evidence. Okay, I don't think that is how that works. Now, granted, the American law enforcement, government, criminal justice system, very sketchy. But damn, is it that bad? Goddamn, is it that bad?
She's dead. That's why it won't happen. Even then, they don't.
Damn.
Do anything. They haven't even done anything towards him. That's how it is with celebrities. This guy's just yapping about it.
Wait, I don't know. Is bro a celebrity? Because I literally never heard like this nigga could have came and cut my grass yesterday. I wouldn't even know the difference. Is that qualify as a celebrity? I guess we're in the era where like you're a celebrity to some people kind of thing.
This Diddy thing. People went after Diddy, and Diddy was not in a situation like this.
Diddy,
And then he
diddy.
says, how long has she been gone? He says, dead, 2 weeks.
Damn.
He says, damn, that's soon. People have been saying like a month. The dude's a weirdo. His songs all have weird messages. What do you think happened? Like he didn't want her to expose him being with her? And this guy says, I don't know. Damn, was your sister like in love with him and choosing to stay? I'm guessing it was all him just manipulating her. And the brother says, yeah, she was always saying that she was waiting till, he was waiting till she was 18 to get married and stuff like that. That's impossible because if that happened, then everyone's just going to rewind and say, hold on, you've been together for this long or you just got married and this happened. So I think
I don't know. I don't know if they backtrack like that. You know, I'm not sure if the chick is 18 and then you marry her, even though you're much older. I don't know if people are going to backtrack like, wait, hold on, nigga. You've been getting in her guts since she was 11 years old. I charge you. I don't know. I don't know if that happens. I think bro probably could have gotten away with that. Now, what are the chances that you're going to successfully stay with baby girl for 6 to 7 years while she reaches being of age? I mean, that's a long time. Sounds kind of crazy, but all of this sounds kind of crazy.
I think David found himself in a situation where he was screwed. Well, he created a situation for himself in which he was screwed because if they ever separate, she starts talking about the situation, he's screwed. If they stay together, he makes it more public than he already was, which is like a very, very, very low key public, then he's screwed because people will say, well, you met her all this time ago and there's all of this information out there. So he was screwed regardless. And then he says, what's crazy is all these people in his circle who knew and didn't say anything. I saw one guy got sued by him. I'm sure you would have too if you kept pushing. He says, dog, what? I never knew that. My sister wouldn't say anything ever. And I knew a couple of girls like this when I was like 12, 13. This was, you just don't know what's going on with them. You don't know what's going on with their family situation. They leave.
No, that exists. There's some girls who are turned up and also there are families that are just completely in disrepair, you know, single mother households, households where mothers are harlots. Yes, this is a real thing. It does exist. And it underscores the importance of obviously family, but also community, of culture, and all of those things have broken down. There's no tribe. And people are so sick mentally that, for example, at Burton Plantation, we have plots of land that you can get, 1 acre plot. 30,000 is the total cost. 3,000 is the deposit. And you can take the land, build a house on it, put a tiny house, put a trailer, whatever the hell you want to put on there to be a part of this community. And then there's like 20 acres in common, things that, football field, etc., things like that. And people are like, well, why do you want to live together? I'm like, because that's how human beings you're supposed to live around people you trust and respect. That's how tribes started. Right now, we're living in unnatural ways where we don't know our neighbors. We can't trust them. And there's less accountability. There's less safety. Maybe this girl, even if her parents were garbage, maybe if she lived in a real community, people would look out for her and keep an eye on her. This is just truly sad. And it's sad for me because I was a 6th grade teacher. I taught 11-year-olds, and if you read my book, The Black Box, actually, I have a lot of stories about girls just like this girl, Celeste, 11-year-old girls, 12-year-old girls who were victim of many things, but first and foremost, victim of bad parenting, victim of a society that just doesn't care. And they were virtually orphans. And it's really one of the saddest things. And unfortunately, it's just too real for me. That's one of the reasons I stopped teaching, because it was such emotional work. You can't just go in and teach mathematics and history. You have to deal with the circumstances of the children.
Disappear from school for a month, 2 months, and then come back. You don't know where they were. They're not telling anybody what's going on. So it's hard to even get a read of the situation. And then he's like, yo, there's so much stuff in that Discord he has. He's like, what the hell? There's a Discord? Well, this guy didn't even know that. This Discord was likely where this was all born. He says, yeah, it was just his fan Discord and stuff. I wasn't in it, obviously, but from what I know, he was decently active in it. And some screenshots and screen recordings were posting today and yesterday after the news. Showed one guy saying this. And that was one of the fans saying, show the one with the missing girl, Celeste Rivas Hernandez. And that's David talking about, I'm in a song crisis right now. So this person in the Discord knew that David had some involvement with the girl that was already known as missing. And he says 95% sure it's legit. Someone who was in the server before it was locked, screen recorded them looking up this message, and it wasn't edited or anything. He says, what the F? No effing way, dude. Please send me more if you know. And then he goes on and he says, only a small number of people were aware until today. I wish I would have known. I could have used this. He says, you didn't have your sister added on Discord, right? He says, I don't even have a Discord. That's how you know this guy's normal. He says, yeah, I was just seeing because someone took a SS of her account. All right, this is what I got. We've seen a lot of this information.
Man, what is this all on Reddit? These folks, internet sleuths.
The photos and stuff. And he says, are these photos her? And that song was an unreleased David song. And this is just stuff proving the messages are real. And then that guy says, yes, those photos are of her. He says, do you know any of your sister's Instagram accounts? And then he shows those text messages back and forth. He says, that's my sister, dog. And he shows more photos of his sister. He says, yeah, you think this is real? He says, yes, I do. I know who Gus is. He's dead. He says, what happened? He says, he got shot up, dead. And he says, you think by David or some other ish? He says, some other stuff. So who knows what this Gus guy was involved with?
So that lets you know that the family was clearly lower class, around the criminal element. And because it's not quite normal to be around people dying of unnatural causes. So, that explains a lot. What a world. Killer Cali, man.
But the way that this Gus guy came into play is this text thread had spread, and it was supposed to be, or what people were saying was Celeste, and he also says that he believes this is true. Celeste on the left side, and in the red is a friend of Celeste's, a family, like maybe like a sister or cousin, something like that. And it was someone checking up on her and says, I'm just gonna check up on you. And then Celeste says, I don't want to talk to anyone. That's it. Okay, yes, of course. But you have to swear you're going to stay safe. Are you still going to talk to David or go back with him? Because I don't want you to get into any more trouble with him. I'm safe. No, I'm not. So she's not going back to David. Okay, I love you. I'll text you in about a week. Don't delete Insta. Love you too, and I won't. And then she says, I made it. And then she says, it can bleed and not bleed during SEX because you probably did it when you were younger. I didn't because I wasn't horny. And then she says, you said you bled? She says,
wait, hold on. This then took a goddamn turn. Now, all right, we got to dig in here, ladies and saints. Let me enlarge this. I had to see what's going on now. Okay. So if you guys could let me know, is she the red text or is she the white text? It can bleed and not bleed during intercourse because you probably did it when you were younger. I didn't because I wasn't. You said you bled. I thought I did, but I just got my cycle. I only bled. Oh, wow. Okay, so it sounds like this savage animal, actually, let me not go too far. This individual took her virginity off of her. And she writes, W. Gus, I was just drunk and did it because he got mad at me the first time for not having intercourse with him. So this girl, she's another lost one because it sounds like she had intercourse with this black fellow because she wanted to get another guy angry. Sounds like she didn't have much of a bright future. OTM Clothing writes, Peace Saints, how often do we see celebrities receive exceptions such that it takes 7 months for him to be charged with any crime with such disgusting details and circumstances?
Thought I did, but I just got my period. I only bled with David. And then she says with Gus, and this is the same Gus that guy's talking about that's dead. With Gus, I was just drunk and did it because he got mad at me the first time for not getting.
Yeah, she was gone. She was lost. So you're 11 years old getting slizzard? Goddamn. This bitch is living the fast life. Yeah.
With him. So that Gus that was all.
Oh, and just by the way, public service announcement. If you grown men, you think you got fresh water, shorty's 18, 19, you think it's fresh water, man, she been ran through. She been getting pile dry since she was 11 years old. God damn, y'all boys are getting done dirty. Whew. You know how many bodies a girl will have? You done met the broad at 30. She been getting smashed since 11. Nigga, that's 2 decades of cock. That's a lot. It's not cool.
Also followed by David.
No wonder they be so hollow. You be like, yo, where is the walls? Where is the walls? From the window to the wall. Where's the... No wonder.
And followed by that account is now dead, according to the brother of Celeste, who is also dead. So that's almost all of the information that's out right now. There's a couple of other things, like the guy that he got called a Fed, he's been talking and saying some stuff, and people have been sharing some Discord messages, but it's nothing like so damning that we've got to add. But let me know what y'all think of this in the comments. Like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell.
Wow. And that was some great research. Shout out to Hello Yassine. I did link his channel and the video link in the description below. So if you would like to see that uninterrupted by me, feel free to check it out. The gentleman clearly has great skills in research, very straightforward and objective. Did a great job.
We got the preliminary.
So that was all 7 months ago. Now here we come into the present. Here we come into the present. This was just a day ago. So this is late breaking information right here. Okay. Late breaking information. Shout out to Melvin, supporting the work via PayPal. He writes, tuition, peace, and love. I appreciate you. Now also acknowledge Salah. He writes, peace of saints. It's been a while, Saint. Hope you're keeping well. God bless you and everything you do. Have a good one, Saint. I appreciate you. And we got to tap in real soon regarding SAS in Africa. So much going on in the world. Shout out to the Nigerians who are holding the South Africans' feet to the fire and treating the South Africans the way they deserve. Those that are in Nigeria, returning like for like. Shout out to Das, comes in via PayPal. Venmo. He writes, peace of saints, big homie. When do you estimate the last session of the practicum will be posted? Also, can you tell me a short story of a business you didn't necessarily think would do well, but really took off? When you start off in entrepreneurship, you're overly optimistic because you're inexperienced and you don't know how challenging it can be to turn a business profitable. So I started off very optimistic. And after I created my first profitable business, after that, I never looked at an idea with optimism. I only looked at my skill set with optimism, meaning, hey, I know enough that I can get the job done. And so that's how I've dealt with things, without emotion, with calculation. And I give it an amount of time. And I say, hey, if it's not making me some money or showing some promise by this time point, I'm going to end it and we're going to move on to something new. At this stage in life, I'm fortunate enough that even things that are making money, I still will shut them down if it's not making enough money, if the profit margins aren't good enough, or if Donald Trump creates tariffs and makes the business just very difficult to do. So it's not about how you feel. It's more so about what you think and what you can calculate. So the key is take your emotions out and only use emotion when you're trying to make yourself more motivated to get things done. Thank you for that question. And yes, I'm going to set this aside so we can get that posted up for you. And to all the folks, and shout out to Daz here, by the way, he is taking my practicum course on how to use AI to create mobile applications, web applications. And he's actually created a technology and already is making money on the technology. And we haven't even ended the damn class. That is awesome. That is something that makes me very happy. And so everyone, do congratulate the gentleman in the live chat. He's done a phenomenal job. He's making money on a technology he created from my course. The course is not even over. That's a win. That I'm very impressed. And that's way better than anything you'll ever find in school or university. You can take an MBA. You will not have a business at the end of the MBA, and you will not have made a single goddamn penny, but you will have spent a lot of money. I promise you that. Anyways, carrying on.
Hearing documents for the David case. And we already are starting off with some conflicting statements from what the prosecution is saying happened and from what a private investigator is saying happened. So first, we're going to start off with the background facts and what the prosecution was saying. And they said that the dismembered body of 14-year-old Celeste was discovered in front trunk of the Tesla on September 8th. That's when the body was discovered.
Okay, so it says dismembered, which would mean that the body was, sectioned off, if you like. So this was done intentionally. And mind you, this probably takes quite a strong stomach and a lot of focus and discipline. And a good knife, a really good knife. You got to cut around the joints, really. You should cut the joints. I heard it from a friend. Not a friend. I heard Saw it on True Crime. But anyways, it's some gory business there. Shout out to Nurdeen, who just came in via Venmo, and he sent in the amount for Boss University. So I just added him to Boss University on school.com. Do check your promotions tab or your spam for that invite, Nurdeen, and do feel free to email me and confirm like, hey, I am able to access it. Just want to make sure that you're good to go. And those of you who haven't taken Boss University, I absolutely recommend it. There's someone that I talked to earlier today in a consultation, and he was recounting some things to me, and I always keep my consultations are always confidential. Who's taking the consultation, what we're talking about is always confidential. But there's a point in his life that he had described a move that he made. And I really think that, certain pieces of knowledge would have allowed him to make a wiser move. So I want to encourage everyone, if you are dealing with a big decision in your life, something that's going to impact your future, talk to someone that's wise, someone you respect, someone who has a life that you want. Get expert advice. Get information, because some decisions in our lives set us on a path. They have serious consequences. It's okay to ask what other people think. For example, I put up a poll today, and I said, hey, should I allocate my next large capital allocation? Should it be to pay for a tiny home, or should I get a luxury Sprinter touring van and put, the logo and everything and the marketing collateral on the paint? Which should I do? Mostly I know the answer. If I don't, I'll ask people. There's a wisdom in crowds. There's a wisdom in people who are experts. So do not make challenging decisions on your own that will affect your eternity or affect your long term. It's worth making an investment of capital, taking a consultation with me, take a consultation with someone you respect, take a consultation with someone who's successful. But get advice on big decisions. That does not mean you're not smart. It doesn't mean that you're immature or incompetent. It means that you're wise. It means that you're dealing with you're giving the situation the gravity and the seriousness that it deserves, okay? Because some things you can't undo. So I would much rather you make an allocation of capital than you make a bad decision that you cannot undo, okay? And for the people who are coming to the Big Game Conference, you're wise, because the woman that you choose, the woman that you have children with, even like the women that you can choose to have children with, is going to depend on the skill set that you have to be able to get a woman. So I respect you guys making that allocation so that you have the best choice. Your career, your woman, your children, these are huge things not to be taken lightly. And unfortunately, public school doesn't teach you, and your parents don't teach you enough. I mean, a lot of you guys, your father might be a stepdaddy. Your father might have a woman he don't want. Your mom might have thought she could have done better. You need to get some advice on this. So shout out to Nurdeen, and I'll look out for an email for him confirming that he has access to Boss University on school. It's a fundamental piece of education. I highly recommend. Carrying on.
The vehicle had been towed 3 days prior, and this was parked 400 feet from the defendant. The defendant is David Burke at 1368 Hollywood Hills. Surveillance video and other evidence confirmed defendant was the last person to drive the vehicle on July 29, 2025, before he left Los Angeles on a concert tour. So on July 29th, they're saying that David was the one driving the car. Now, Steve
Got
Fisher,
him.
this guy that's been doing a lot of investigative work on this case, he disagrees. He says, now that the prosecution has released a briefing for the preliminary hearing in the David case, we are releasing the surveillance footage of the Tesla being moved on July 29th. The driver is lighter skinned with long hair, wearing a red jersey.
If bro was smart enough to, throw on some makeup and a wig to give some, what do you call that? Not counterintelligence. There's a term for that, but you know what I mean. To throw them off the scent, very wise, very wise. Anyways, shout out to Taylor, who just got the Iran hoodie. We have a hoodie at sasnbrand.com. Beautiful green hoodie. I have it myself. It has the Iranian flag. It shows your solidarity with these people struggling against a great Goliath and a Satan. So shout out. Carrying on.
And it shows this video clip, which is the Tesla. It looks like it. And then he freeze frames it. And you can see some red. And
that is
people
blurry.
are suggesting that this is Neo the Asian, the guy that was very close friends with David, but also the guy that was arrested briefly a couple of months ago and then released. And he was arrested. I don't even think he was charged with anything.
Okay.
So that was very odd.
What was he arrested
And people
for?
are pulling up the fact that this guy was wearing a red jersey on an Instagram post that he released
Okay.
on July 28th. So that one was, well, actually, no, the photo was taken by somebody that posted it on July 28th by this. And then also David would respond to this, talking about now this is aura. This is crazy because this was months after this guy caught a body. Now, sometimes editing photos takes a day or two. Are they going to post it right away? I don't know. But one of the odd things is that this isn't conclusive enough, man. Like, you don't even see the skin color of the individual.
Agree.
The window is turned down, and it could just be artifacts in some.
That's correct. And also, we would have to really engage David about, well, who was driving your car? If you weren't driving it, who was? You should absolutely know.
Something that is this low resolution. But hey, that we already got some dispute there. So it says the manager of the tow yard smelled decay and flies coming from the vehicle. So he called
Disgusting.
the LAPD. LAPD showed up. And here it says LAPD robbery homicide detectives determined the victim and defendant met in January 2022 when she was 11 years old. And
How
they
though?
began
But how though? Was it the Discord? If so, good Lord, Discord is evil. But I'm sincerely curious. Well, how did he meet this child?
engaging in a sexual relationship in 2020.
Whoa. So they met in 22, and approximately like almost a year later, the victim was 13 and the defendant was 18, and they were engaging. And wow. Okay. That doesn't sound as bad though. I'm not going to lie. 13, she's at least reached the teens. 18, he for sure knew better. He for sure knew better.
23. So it was about a year and a half. The victim was 13 and defendant was 18.
That's
so this
wild.
was, they likely met before David even showed up to LA. And then detectives learned the victim had been reported missing by her family in February and April 2024. So between November 2023 and February of 2024, she was not reported missing. So presumably she was with her family then. So
Okay.
that's 5 months later. And then they also, the first time they met was, or the first time they engaged in sexual activity was November of 2023. And here it says that they identified a phone number in the victim's phone records that belonged to him. And that is David. During the call, defendant David claimed he had spoken to the victim last on February 13th or 14th, 2024. That is Valentine's Day. Yep. But stated he was unaware she was a minor or that she had been reported missing. RCSD advised him that Los Angeles Sheriff's Department would be coming to his home. On that day, defendant was living at address in West Hollywood and requested that the LASD conduct a welfare check at the defendant's home. So LA deputies went to the defendant's home that night at 8:15 and informed him the victim was a 13-year-old runaway. David again claimed he was unaware she was a minor and he had only...
Nah, boy. I don't think I believe that. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't think I believe that one bit.
He met the victim once in person in November of 2023. However, David showed deputies a yearbook photo of the victim he had on his cell phone. A yearbook photo. What is that, 8th grade? The girl didn't even graduate 8th grade. So if she had a yearbook, it had to be from the 5th grade. So this guy, this continuously gets worse because he met her online when she was 11. So the only yearbook photo she had
Internet is dangerous. Goddamn.
5th grade yearbook. So this guy's got a 5th grade yearbook photo of her on his phone. I don't care if he...
Yeah, I guess a grown man wearing a bonnet, while performing a concert. Yeah, that'll tell you enough.
Was 17 or he's underage. 17 and 5th grade. This is psychotic. Although he claimed to be unaware of where the victim was at the time, she returned home 2 days later. And this is somewhat believable because they seemingly had a quote unquote toxic relationship, if you even want to call it that.
Yeah, that is crazy to even.
Despite being informed by law enforcement, the victim was only 13. Defendant continued to pursue her. So here they're painting the story. They're saying, hey, look, these guys came to his house. They told him, hey, look, this girl's missing. This is who the...
So I want to make sure that I'm understanding, and let me know in the live chat if you would agree. Ooh, did they say they told Lil Buddy that she was a 13-year-old, not a woman? And he said, "Oh, I didn't know." And then bro kept trying to take her down like a hitman. Like he kept trying to beat that good. Is that what you guys are understanding? Because that's what it seems like to me.
The girl is. They know that he had a photo of her. He knows that the police are aware of this situation. And he continues to chase this girl. So this guy had the opportunity. And this is what I said earlier. I was like, man, did the situation, I thought he just knew ahead of, like, he had so many different opportunities, which
Yep.
is
To
him
get
blowing
away.
up,
Yep.
him meeting her in person. If there were just messages, his lawyers would be able to handle the situation. Even if it was like, oh, he's 18 and he's talking to a 13-year-old, they would figure out some way to
Guaranteed.
make sure that his music career continued.
On God, they would have figured that one out. Promise you that one, Jack. Shout out to Frank and also to Gary and Tehran supporting the work. I appreciate you. Shout out to all those folks that came in using the Stripe link. And Tehran, if I'm not pronouncing your name correctly, please do let me know. I want to respect everyone who's supporting. You're, of course, appreciated.
Or at the very least, that's some way to make sure that his music career continued, whether they suppressed it, all that stuff. But it got to a point where police showed up and he still thought to himself, yeah, you know what, let me stay involved with this chick, which just goes to show that he is twisted. So after the victim returned home in February, her parents took her cell phone away. And then David drove to Lake Elsinore and paid a junior high school student. That's the video that we saw, that we've been seeing for the past 6 months, in the victim's class, $1,000 to give the victim a cell phone defendant purchased so they could stay in contact. Dog, if this isn't grooming, I don't know what is. The chick makes it back home. The little girl.
That must have been that good. That's that fresh water that y'all niggas don't know nothing about, nigga. That's the pre-order. Somebody in the chat said that's definitely the pre-order. That's the level of freshness, bro. Was like, listen, I don't fuck the law. I don't care about no law, nigga. I'm an outlaw. Thug like he like, bro is like, man, it don't matter. You hear me? I'm buying her a cell phone, putting a GPS tracker on her. Need it in my life.
They take away her phone. The parents take away her phone. The parents are trying to do their job. And then this guy finds, because what we initially thought was that people were blackmailing Dave and say, yo, we're going to expose this. You better pay us. But they're saying here that he paid the kids $1,000 to give her a cell phone so that he could continue talking to her.
I would have took that
so
$1,000 if I was a high school kid, a middle school kid. Oh yeah, no, I would have took that thou wow. Oh, believe that. I would have took that thou wow.
At this point, if you're the kids, you know that he's still talking to her. So you got another set of witnesses that you're adding into this crime that you're continuing to engage in. Throughout 2024, the victim spent a significant amount of time with David, including summer weekends at his home in the hills and traveling with him to Las Vegas, London, and Texas to meet his family. Now, I'll tell you something that doesn't happen frequently. Managers, people on an artist team, the artist is not traveling alone, especially on flights.
Correct.
And you're going to tell me that they didn't know? Summer weekends, summer the most lit in the hills, where parties are being thrown constantly. You're telling me that, oh man, no, just nobody knew? Come on, dog. Let's be real here. Text exchanges between the victim and defendant contain references to sex, pregnancy, abortion, and the use of Plan B emergency contraceptive.
This nigga is doing everything evil.
Photographs
Bro is doing everything evil. Like all the evil things you could do, bro's doing all of them. Like this nigga's not skipping anything. He's smashing a youngster. That's insane. He's doing it raw. That's another level. Skeeting in her. Good Lord. Getting her prego. Then got her on the kill pills. What else could you do? Lock this man up.
Documenting and corroborating their sexual relationship. So this guy's They're sending photos back and forth. Who knows if he's recording the activity? So this just gets more and more depraved. Keep in mind,
Truly.
police showed up to this guy's place. Authorities showed up to this guy's place when all he had was a yearbook photo. And they were like, yo, we're looking for this chick. She's missing. So at this point, anybody with a brain, even somebody that is a PDF, right? They're like, okay, I gotta.
Yeah, nigga, abort mission. This, like, you're busted. The jig is up. Nigga, run. Get on a flight. I'm out of here like Lil Durk. Nigga, it's a wrap. You try not to go to JAL, bro. What the hell? Shout out to Michael. Came in by Venmo, writes tuition, peace to the saints. I appreciate you. Shout out to the real ones. Carrying on.
Get the hell out of this situation. Just logically thinking, self-preservation type of situation. But this guy didn't do that.
No.
And you've got
No, he
Plan B
didn't.
emergency contraceptive. So this guy's allegedly going raw in this little girl, her potentially getting pregnant. Just
100%.
no care
Straight
in the
raw.
world for
Skeet,
any
skeet.
type of consequence.
Skeet, skeet,
Not
skeet.
even for himself.
Skeet.
Like, yeah, we get it. He has clearly no care in the world for her well-being.
Terrible.
Or at least maybe in some twisted way he does, but objectively speaking, he doesn't care about it. And suggest April 23rd, 2025 is the likely date of the victim's death and when all her cellular activity ceased. And we're presumably saying, is this still the same cell phone that he bought for her, or is this another cell phone? The night prior, April 22nd, defendant and the victim engaged in a lengthy argument described in detail in their text messages. The messages revealed the victim's jealousy over defendant's relationships with other women.
Okay.
So they're saying
That
David
makes
had
sense.
other chicks.
Of course. Of
Now,
course.
are these chicks?
Now the question is, were those women though? Like, were those other women or other females? Because just, based on the current evidence.
Of age? That's what we really should be asking. As defendant led her to believe they had a future together. So he was selling.
Turns out she didn't have a future at all. This nigga is the taker of futures.
An 11-year-old a dream. Jeez, man. She hasn't even gotten through all the Disney movies to have the Disney image and the Disney prince in her mind yet. And this guy's selling her dreams. Criminal. She became extremely upset and threatened to disclose damaging information about her relationship.
Dang. She hit that nigga like, nigga, I'll tell everybody. Nigga, you be bigger than R. Kelly. Keep playing with me, nigga. Little short nigga. Hey. That was probably her death certificate right there. As soon as she said that, nigga was like, okay, I got something for your ass. Yeah. Yeah. You used to ride in the back seat. You gonna ride in the back. Yes, indeedy. Shout out to Abigail, writes, nothing, just came in support in a strong way. I appreciate you. Shout out to the ladies saying so. Oh yeah, and by the way, to all the women, if you want to be a part of a great group of women, we really do invite you to join the Ladies Saints. They speak regularly on meaningful topics in a woman's life, and also it's a great group of women, especially if you want to meet a qualified man. We've had many situations where ladies say, "Hey, I'm interested in this guy. I've seen him." At your events or, seen him in your videos. He's a good looking guy, very successful. Would you introduce us? And we're always happy to make the introduction to build families. We're all about family here. We want upstanding men and women together in strong relationships. And so we encourage you all, if you're a man, join at peaceofsaints.com. If you're a woman, go to peaceofsaints.com, select the Lady Saints membership, and we'll send over an email to you and get you connected. Carrying on.
With David to end his career and destroy his life. Defendant's first studio album was set to be released April 25th. So a couple days later, and this makes sense. 13-year-old girl, and she's like, oh, well, she feels like she got wronged.
No, she did.
You know what?
She for sure did get wronged.
Vengeance is coming. He had an emerging multi-million-dollar career already in progress. He already had multi-million dollars.
Woo.
He also had multiple product endorsements, which were highly profitable. At approximately $840.
Why not just get you some adult female? You hear me? Like, why not just get you a little bit of adult female?
Defendant. So David sent an Uber to transport the victim from her Lake Elsinore home to his residence. So I'm guessing if they were able to get the records, they would have Uber records with David's credit card or his name, picking her up and dropping her off at his address, because she's 11, 12 years old. I'm pretty sure she can't even have an Uber account unless it's her parents.
That was
wild.
Her
parents weren't going to at 8:40 p.m. They're not going to let her go out, and she was home at this time. They communicated before and during her Uber ride, which dropped her off at his home around 10:10 p.m. At approximately 10:30 p.m., defendant sent text messages to the victim inquiring where she was. The people contend this was part of defendant's premeditated plan to cover up the murder, as she was already dead by this time. This is
I am looking forward to are we right now thinking that because she said, "Hey, I'll tell," he was like, "No, you won't." No, you won't. Are we thinking that that's why he ended her?